I have a question for the guys. Sometimes guys leave comments like, oh, I have a rolling rotation of women, or I have women I like to hook up with. And my question always is, what kind of woman? And doesn't she get attached? And so I want to talk about this also in relation to how women have sex as opposed to how men have sex, and the kind of women who are okay with hooking up versus the ones who are not. So men are driven by this desire to be with a woman the same way when we as ladies see a cute puppy or cute kitten, we just want to go up and pet it. But the baby or the kitten is not that interested in being petted if they don't know us. The baby can actually cry if they're not familiar with us, and the kitten might just hiss or run away. Okay? So I like to use this as sort of an energetic example of how women respond to men. We don't want you to just touch us unless we want you to. Okay? Now, how does this wanting happen? The same as with a kitten or a baby. I think those are good examples. They want to feel safe and they want to trust. And with women, since we also are human and we have emotions, we start to bond through men through an emotional center in our hearts. Somehow a man must awaken, not just trust and safety, familiarity helps, but you have to engage your emotions and our heart. Our heart has to be activated in a way that I feel receptive to you. I want to hug you. It becomes personal to you. Our emotions are like, I want you close to me. I had a Tantra instructor explain this to me once as a man starts his interaction with the woman in his penis, and then hopefully the energy goes up to his heart so he can bond with her. Whereas a woman's interaction with a man starts in her heart and then goes down to her genitals. So in fact, the more you engage my heart, the more I will be turned on and desire you. And a woman's vulva, clitoris, her erectile tissue, if you've ever seen a vulva area that's very thick and swollen, it's her erectile tissue. Just like the penis, the clitoris is a huge network of erectile tissue. A man's penis will swell seeing a naked woman. Or even guys have emailed me years ago when I still had my email out, they got turned on listening to me talk. It's like, you guys are just designed to get turned on easily. It's such a beautiful thing. But we as women are going to respond when you touch our hearts. That's when we don't even have to touch us. It's not how hot you are. To really get a woman's clitoris to swell without even touching her, it's how deeply you're connected to her heart. Okay? Now, why am I mentioning this? Because since a woman's arousal starts in her heart, she has feelings for you. She's receptive to you through her heart first. She sees you as someone she would date. Made another video explaining that women only fuck men that they would actually date. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the 3% of women that are outliers that just go around fucking anything that walks, or that are polyamorous, or that are autistic, that are disconnected from their hearts. A woman who's disconnected from her heart is going to behave completely differently, and I'll get into that maybe at the end of the video. This is the typical woman. This is describing me and every woman that I've ever met, and the typical woman. And we're designed by nature to be selective, and we're more emotional creatures. So our sexual interest in you starts with our emotions, okay? Therefore, if you're bad in bed, it's going to be a huge emotional disappointment and a waste of our time, because it's going to be more is required of a man to please a woman in bed than is required of a woman to please a man in bed. Pretty much, a man can come from a rub and tug. Rub and tug with a hand, rub and tug with a vagina, rub and tug with a mouth. Pretty easy to make a guy come unless he's desensitized from watching too much porn, and then even he cannot make himself come. Making a woman come is a completely different matter. As any of you know, ladies know, men who've been with women know, we're all different, what we need, what we want, how we want to be touched. There's the orgasm gap. So a man is much more likely to enjoy the encounter because his penis is very simple. It just needs a rub and tug and a hand, vagina, or mouth. And it's you guys are sexually, you guys are very simple. So a woman to be interested in a man, and men who make videos about dating women and courting women, you need to have some emotional tension. You need to engage her emotionally, make her interested in you intellectually, make her want you, be charmed by you, think you're funny. Like, our emotions have to be engaged. So if you're bad in bed, it's a huge disappointment, not just emotionally, but mostly physically. Like, I shared my body with this guy and he sucks in bed. And 90% of men suck in bed, pure and simple, with the exception that if a woman is in love with you, she'll think you're great in bed even if you're not. Let me repeat. If a woman is in love with you, she will desire you even though you're a dud in bed. However, there are some men that are really good in bed. What happens when a woman has sex with a guy that she really likes, especially if he's really good in bed? She has already engaged herself emotionally. She's going to bond with him even more. And having sex with him is in her heart. So for me, I would have sex with men. I'm the typical woman that I already like. And then through the sex, especially if they were passionate and sensual with me, I would feel even closer. And I love the closeness and the sex and everything. And then when they were done, because to a lot of men, it was just like, they enjoy the sex like a rub and tug and they're off, I would be very devastated and emotionally hurt. This is a very typical response from a woman, and this is why the very passionate men I've met, and I was an escort for many years, most of my clients were extremely passionate men, really good in bed, not all, but the more passionate the man was in bed, the more he would say, I'm not going to hook up because women get attached and I don't want to hurt her feelings. So men who are having sex with emotionally healthy women are not going to hook up because they know women get attached. They usually don't figure it out till they're in their late 20s, and they don't want to deal with where is this going? Why don't we spend more time together? Why do you work so much? When am I going to see you again? They don't want to deal with all that. So we'd rather not hook up at all. They'll wait till they have a girlfriend, but otherwise they won't have sex at all. Now, sometimes I knew someone who was a personal trainer who was going through a hookup phase, and he was encountering these women who were just happy to fuck him. And I've had other guys tell me, this woman came over, she fucked me and she left. And I've had women tell me, that they were just in like a fuck phase. It was just a physical thing. But all of these women are emotionally closed off. They have borderline personality, or they are avoidant. They're emotionally unstable, and they're not thriving in these hookups. Sometimes the one woman who did it said that she had been raped as a child, and she was angry at men, and she would just fuck them and leave them as a way of like retribution. Other women, like the ones that are like the crazy ones in bed, they'll just like get all crazy in bed with you, but not, they're starting with their bodies and not with their hearts. I have never seen an emotionally healthy woman, like a feminine woman, like a woman like myself, okay, who thrives in hooking up and who's willing to just be your hookup buddy without wanting a relationship. I've never seen that. And that's what this video is about, okay? This video is inspired by a recent comment that I read on my channel about I have women that I like to go out with and hook up with. I like a rotation of women. And I'm like, what kind of women? What kind of women are okay with this and do this? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. I think that if you want a woman who's going to fuck like a man, you have to go to a certain type of woman, not a woman that's a relationship type of woman. It would have to be someone who is like male attention seeking, a woman who's okay with fucking like a man. That's what you guys want. That's your ideal woman. Your ideal woman is a woman who will fuck like a man. And like she's horny like you are, she requires no emotional investment, and she doesn't mind when you leave and when you call her. And I think those women exist. I think they're very small in number. And my personal opinion is that they're emotionally damaged. They're not starting with their heart. Their heart is closed off. Their heart is just closed off. They're emotionally damaged, in my opinion, unless they're like autistic or truly polyamorous, but that would be a very small percentage of the population. And because women start with our hearts, and I have to feel my heart warm and open to you in order to have sex with you, okay, if I'm doing it for free. My desire starts in my heart, not in my groin like yours. Because my desire starts in my heart, my emotions are engaged, and when that is unmet, I'm going to feel like this was a bad deal for me. That's why women who have tried hooking up, they'll stop. They're like, it's not really working for me. Or they start drinking a lot because they're so unhappy and so depressed, or they're crying a lot, you know, because they hook up with this guy. To the guy, she was just a fun time, but now she has feelings for him, and now she's crying about him, and she's wondering when he's going to call her. And that's how women are designed. We're designed that way. So I'm curious how many of you have met women who are not designed that way, and what their emotional issues are. I'm not saying you shouldn't fuck these women, but I think that in order for the woman to not feel used, you'd have to find a woman who is on some kind of either just looking for sex, but even then, I do not know how many women are okay with just having sex with a guy and not having any emotional investment at all. Like, I'm just going to ride your dick, and that's really fun. I think the only ones that I can think of actually also are swingers, but their husband is involved. But even women who do it, I don't think that that's what they actually want. But I could be wrong. If you're a woman and you're, you know, a regular emotional creature, are you okay with just like hooking up with guys and then they just blow you off like a one-night stand? Do you feel like that was a great experience? Maybe once or twice after divorce, but on an ongoing basis. And men, if you have like any of you have regular hookup buddies, what kind of women are engaging in that, and are they thriving? You know, I'm just very curious. I would like to hear from you guys in order to enlarge my knowledge, because every woman I've ever met develops feelings for the guy she's fucking, except these two exceptions I said, these women that were just using men because of their own painful past. But no judgment on that, you know, they're just like, I just rode a stick and then I left. But both of those women were married at the time they told me the story. They ultimately didn't want to get married. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.